What's up, everybody? I'm Simon Sabro, and today I got for you my June manga reading load. So before we jump into that, be sure to follow me on Instagram at SimonSabroYT. The link will always be down in the description. Also, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell so you never miss an upload, all that good stuff. And comment down what you've been reading recently. Would you recommend it? Just kind of your general thoughts about whatever you've been reading. Also, I did recently launch a Patreon and YouTube membership, so the link for that will be down in the description for you. Maybe check it out if you're interested, all that good stuff. Also, at the time of this recording, the recent Berserk chapters did just come out, so I will be talking about that towards the end of the video. So if you're interested, be sure to stick around towards the end to kind of hear my thoughts on it. Don't comment down how you feel about it because I don't want to spoil any other people. Lastly, at the time this video goes up, the day after, I will be at Anime Expo on the Saturday. So if you're interested in seeing my adventure at Anime Expo, definitely subscribe and hit the bell so that you can see that when it comes out the week after. But that's really it. With all that out the way, let's just jump right into it. So the first thing I did read was Devil Ecstasy by Shuzo Oshimi. Now this is, I believe, one of Oshimi's first works, but it's just now getting published. And I think there is going to be a second omnibus for it, and that should end off the series. But I did read this and it is funny. That's really all I can say about it. It is very funny. It is about our character here named Noboru, and I forgot her name and this guy's name too. I really forgot their names, but basically our character Noboru has a fear of large-chested women. So but him and his friend are virgins, and they kind of go to a brothel to lose their virginity. And at this brothel, come to find out it is ran by succubus who just kind of want to steal their life force. That's basically the premise of it. And his friend loses his life, but Noboru escapes with his life because the person he got is genuinely interested in him. And it's really just an overall funny story. I don't really know what to say about it, honestly, other than it is very funny, very silly, and just has me what? All the time. It is a really funny story. That's all I can say about it. I wouldn't say it's Oshimi's best work, definitely not, but for what it is very enjoyable. After that, we have another Oshimi work, which is one that's way better, which is Welcome Back Alice Volume 1. Now this one was amazing. Just the first volume was stunning. I don't know really what to say about it, but we do have our, I want to say, main character named Yo. I want to say that's his name, which is this guy right here. And this is just kind of a friend group, and they've been friends since middle school. It's a bit of a love triangle, so he likes her, she likes him, and it's not revealed, but it seems like he likes him. So it is very interesting though, just the way Oshimi handles a very sensitive topic and just a sensitive premise for this manga, but he handles it extremely well, and it is very interesting. The art in here reminds me a lot more of the Flowers of Evil kind of art, not so much the scratchy kind of art like in Blood on the Tracks, but even still it is very interesting. But like I said, it is about these three characters who've been friends since middle school, and they go on to high school, and one of the characters, whose name I don't remember, comes back as a female, or kind of dressed as a female, and says they're done with being a man because the character which is this character right here, sorry, but this character just doesn't agree with the male social standards. They don't feel male, if that makes sense. And it is very, very weird and very interesting, especially just the way this volume ends off. It is extremely interesting. I don't know when volume 2 comes out, but I'm really excited for it, and I assume it's probably gonna go on for maybe 10 volumes or so, because that's how long most Oshimi works go on for. But this was definitely one of my favorite reads this month, and I am really excited to check out the rest of the series. But after that, we have one that has been on my eye for a very long time, and that is Double. Now, to start, Ayako Noda was, I believe, works under a different pen name and makes BL manga. I could be wrong, but I think so. Now, I've never read any of their BL manga or any other manga they've made under this name, but I really just liked Double's manga cover, and as well as the back of the book. I'll show it again. Once again, you can pause it if you want to read it yourself, but it is very interesting. It's about acting, and it's these two characters named Yoshida, I believe, and Takara. And was it Yoshida? Yujin. Sorry, his name is Yunjin and he's Takara. So it's about these two characters, and Takara is basically Yujin's, I got it backwards, sorry. Yujin is Takara's manager, really, but they're kind of just really close friends. But Takara isn't capable of doing anything on his own except for acting really good. So Yujin does everything else for him. And one thing I want to say really quickly is that the faces, the way Noda draws faces in this manga kind of reminds me a lot of Chainsaw Man. I don't know what it is about it, but I think just the realism in the faces kind of just, I love it, honestly. It's really good, and the art in here is really amazing. The storytelling is also amazing. Now, I really want to read volumes 2 and 3 because I did pick them up. If you'd be interested, be sure to check out my manga haul for June, like I said, if you're interested. But this manga was just, it blew me away. It is a phenomenal story so far, and the characters, especially Takara, is extremely interesting, especially towards the end. And honestly, I'm really just excited to read the rest of it. I think it has a slow release schedule, which is very unfortunate, but nonetheless, I'm excited to check out the rest of this. But this was a really fun read for this month. Now, this next one isn't exactly your traditional kind of manga. It is very different, and it is Gaia by Asagi Yainaga. I may have pronounced the last name wrong, but this manga, and at first it does look like it's really just an art book, but it is, for one, it has some really gorgeous art. Honestly, just Asagi's art style is amazing. And Asagi does have an Instagram, which I'll also leave a link to that in the description below, because their art is just phenomenal, and this manga is just, it really blew me away. Not so much the story, but just the art on literally every single page, and just every single panel was just drop dead gorgeous. And I don't know what else to say for it. The story was a bit hard to follow for me. I think at the time I read it, I probably just wasn't really in the mood to read manga, so the story was, like I said, kind of hard to follow for me. But just the art alone was just so interesting and just so beautiful. It's like, it feels like a giant art book with story. That's how it feels, and I don't mean that in a bad way, because towards the end it does kind of summarize the story, and just from that alone it's really interesting, and it is very dark and gritty, as you could probably tell, but nonetheless really good. I genuinely enjoyed reading this. Honestly, it was a beautiful manga, honestly. But after that, we have one that I'm sure everybody has read by now, and that is Blue Lock Volume 1. Now, this manga was amazing. I did talk about it kind of briefly in my manga haul. Once again, if you're interested, be sure to check that out. But this is a manga about soccer, and honestly, I don't know what to say that hasn't already been said. The art is beautiful. It is such a unique take on sports manga, because most sports series, let's take Ice Shield because it's right behind me, usually follows, a team trying to be a team to win, some high school tournament or whatever. And, you got the seniors, their last chance, all that stuff. It's very, kind of standard. But this Blue Lock was just so different. It starts out with, for one, Japan is in a situation where they haven't seen a championship in a minute. So they're trying to basically produce, you know, somebody that could carry Japan to a championship. And we have our main character here, whose name I don't really remember, unfortunately. But, oh, I think it's right here. Yeah, Yoichi Isagi. So he is our main character, and it starts out where he's in a situation where he can either pass the ball or he could take the shot for himself and potentially win. And he decides to pass the ball, and his teammate fumbles. They didn't, you know, execute the plan correct. But after that, it takes off from there. So he gets a letter inviting him to an event, and he goes there, and it's crazy. So basically, he goes to this place where they're, like I said, kind of mass produce someone to carry Japan to a championship. And this guy gives a really long speech about basically the goals for it and stuff like that. But it is so interesting, just the way the story comes together, the way Isagi is as a character, just the fact that instead of focusing on, you know, becoming a champion as a team, it focuses more on just being the best player you possibly can be. So good that you're better than everyone else. That's kind of like what it is, as opposed to, you know, that whole power of friendship. Oh, we got to make it to the you know, the championships together kind of thing. It's just me. I'm gonna be better than all of y'all, and I'm gonna do my best to make it there. I don't care what y'all say, and I love it. It is such a cutthroat way of going about a sports series, and I really enjoy it. If you've read Blue Lock, definitely comment down how you feel about it, because I'm really interested in hearing a lot of y'all's opinions, because that manga is something special. And I'm excited for the anime, which I believe is coming out next month, or I think in October, something like that. But I'm excited for the anime as well as any volume that comes out later. But kind of, you know, going way off from the high of Blue Lock, we have Gigant, volume 8. There's really absolutely nothing I can say about this manga, except that there's a lot of fighting. So I got through this manga in probably like a good 15-20 minutes. It's just a lot of pages with no dialogue at all, because it's just pure fights. It was cool, enjoyable. I wouldn't say this is a good book at all. It's really not that good, but it is a lot of fun to read every single time a volume comes out. I just have fun reading it. And if you enjoyed Gantz, I probably wouldn't even recommend this to you still. It's really not good, like I said, but it is just always fun to read, and it's very relaxing to read because I can just turn my brain off and just enjoy a series every once in a while. Okay, so we do have 3 more manga that I read physically, and then after that we're going to get into the digital manga. So lastly, I did read, or not lastly, but third to last, I did read A Galaxy Next Door by Giro Amagakure. And this manga was, honestly, the way it started out, like the first chapter I think was really good, but afterwards I kind of wasn't really enjoying it. So it's about our main character, whose name I don't remember, and he's just a manga artist, and as well as he owns an apartment complex that he like rents out to people, and he's just trying to, you know, make enough money for his 2 siblings to be able to go to college. That's how it starts off, but he's having a hard time making deadlines because he doesn't have any assistance, so no help, nothing at all. So he gets this one partner who name I also forgot, but long story short, they're cool. They start to get interested in each other. They're, you know, helping each other out. It's a really wholesome story so far, but then something happens which I wasn't expecting in a bad way. Like it happened, and I was like, oh, okay, I kind of lost a lot of interest in this series. But it comes to find out that the girl that was, you know, working as an assistant for him is from another planet or another universe, something like that, and he kind of touches her stinger, which basically means that they are now engaged. And it becomes a really weird story of now he's trying to fall in love with her because he kind of has to, because like I said, since he touched her stinger, they're now engaged. And if he does anything that like makes her upset, hurts her or whatever, he feels like his health kind of deteriorates for it. And it's really interesting, but I was kind of just looking for a more standard romance series, I'll be honest. It's okay. I do really love the art as well as both of the characters, and there's really nothing wrong with the series at all, honestly. I still do enjoy it, but my enjoyment for it definitely went down compared to when I was first, just going through it up until that part. If you've read A Galaxy Next Door, comment down how you feel about it, because maybe it's just me who didn't really enjoy it like that. But one that I did enjoy was Zom 100 Bucket List of the Dead Volume 6. Now, for one, this cover is nice. This cover is really, really cool. I do love this character a lot. She was recently introduced, and I think she's a pretty cool addition to the group. But this volume was kind of weird, and not weird is the wrong word, but this volume, and I believe the previous volume, kind of been doing like a battle kind of arc, I guess. And I wasn't really enjoying it because it introduced a lot of weird characters with really weird goals. And I don't know, it wasn't something I was looking for. It wasn't as enjoyable as just their typical adventures around Japan and just doing stuff. I kind of found that to be way more interesting. So like I said, I wasn't really feeling this volume too much either, but it was still enjoyable, especially towards the end after the battle arc kind of got resolved. It kind of started to pick up again towards the end, but I am more excited for volume 7 because one, the cover for that is amazing and I'm hoping it goes back to its like original kind of patterns. But the last manga we did read physically is, like the Dark Sage says, some down bad nasty man manga, and that is Sundome Milky Way. I don't know how much of this I can talk about, but it is very funny. And for one, it is an Arrow manga, so let's start with that. But it is about basically we have this alien here named Luna or Loon, who kind of just crashes down on Earth because her race is like going extinct. So basically they find males on Earth with a high sex drive and try to reproduce with them. Simple enough, but the comedy part is that anytime Loon gets embarrassed, she transforms into her alien kind of form, and when she's in her alien form, she can't really do the do. And we have our main character whose name I don't remember at all, but he is a really funny character. Okay, his name is Sakura Yoshitake, but really funny guy, like I said, and he has an absurdly high sex drive, and he's, I believe it was like 26 or 25, and he's a virgin and he just wants to get it on. It's really, really funny, I'll be honest. It's another one of those turn your brain off and just enjoy kind of manga. And I have been really, really enjoying it. If you watch my manga haul, I did recently pick up the next volumes for it. But this manga is just, it's funny. That's all I can say about it. But let's jump into the digital manga. Alright, so to start out, I did recently read, or catch up to Jujutsu Kaisen. I didn't read any chapters last month until I I think all the chapters for the month came out and I just read all of them. I'm gonna keep it brief and I'm gonna keep it simple. I don't know what's going on in JJK. Like the guy's domain expansion, I don't understand nothing of it. I wasn't gonna sit through the whole info dump and read it, I'll be very honest, but it seems cool. I just know the guy can't die for 4 minutes and 11 seconds. That's all I know about it, but JJK has still been a lot of fun to read. But like I said, some of the abilities just, I don't understand at all, and I don't even try to understand them anymore. After that, I have been keeping up with Sakamoto Days. The recent chapters have been really good, especially I don't know what arc to call it, but kind of just them trying to join the agency kind of thing. It has been really good. It's been phenomenal, actually. Another one, the recent Mashal chapters have been so much fun, just amazing. And I'm sad that Mashal is about to end soon. I don't know how soon is soon, but it is really fun to read. And I think an anime for it did just recently get announced, so really excited for that. But also, Ruri Dragon and Aliens Area did come out, which are two new serializations by Shonen Jump. I'm gonna talk about Aliens Area first. I did read only chapter 1 and 2. I believe the time this video goes out, 3 and 4 should have been out by now. But just off of chapters 1 and 2, it does seem really interesting. The premise is actually really cool. With the whole aliens kind of living undercover kind of thing. And just the main character has an alien hand and the aliens want that hand back. It is really cool. Nothing too phenomenal, but it is really cool nonetheless. And my only fear with this manga is that it kind of follows a premise similar to Bleach. Let me explain that. Whereas, so like, you can tell that the main character really only cares about his 2 younger siblings. And my fear is that every arc, one of his siblings end up getting captured just to like drive the story forward. That's kind of my fear. But the other main character with the white hair seems like he's gonna like be like the main driving factor for the manga. So I'm really excited for it. I'm not gonna, you know, put all my eggs in a basket because Shonen Jump just cancels whatever they want to cancel these days. So I'm, like I said, not gonna put all my bets on it, but it does seem really interesting. And I think down the line, maybe like 50-60 chapters in, I think it could be a really amazing manga. But after that, we do have Ruri Dragon, which is another new one. I only read the first chapter, and just off of that, it's really interesting. I'm really just excited to see a slice of life manga in Shonen Jump, because I could be wrong, but I don't think there's any other really slice of life manga in Shonen Jump, except maybe like Blue Box, I think. That's really all I got off the top of my head, but that's a romance. Most others are like comedy. I think this is like the only pure kind of slice of life, but it has a very unique twist on it, where that the main character is half dragon, and they're just kind of like learning to live with their half dragon self, and then they find out their dad is a dragon, and that's how they're half dragon. But the main character just has horns and spits fire, so it's really just interesting just to see how it'll go. I can't really imagine it going on for too long, but it does seem very interesting. Now, another digital manga I have been reading, and I did just catch up, or I guess complete it actually, and it is a manga by Akira Hiramoto, which is the creator of Raw Hero and Prison School, and it is Me and the Devil Blues. Now, somebody in the comments recommended it to me, and this manga blew me out the water. It's about our main character named RJ. It is set in, I want to say it was like 1920 or so. It's kind of based on the person named Robert Johnson, I believe. I don't know how much of the story was made by Hiramoto, or if it's like based on like a light novel or something. Nonetheless, so it's about a character named RJ who sucks at playing a guitar. And situation happens, and he ends up selling his wife and his kid so that he could be amazing at playing a guitar. So through that, he kind of goes on a journey and he comes across a guy named Clyde, and the story just kicks off. Like, every chapter was just amazing. It was just banger after banger. I would really recommend it. It is very sensitive, so if you're kind of like sensitive to the topic of like slavery, racism, and stuff like that, I would recommend staying away from it, because it does go into that very deeply. But man, this manga, this was probably like my favorite read for the whole month, honestly, because it was just amazing. Just the art, I honestly, like, I forget how good Hiramoto's art is until I read that manga, and I was like, dang, he kind of did it on that one, I ain't gonna lie. So definitely check it out. I would really recommend it. It is an amazing manga. Lastly, I did read the new Berserk chapters. I believe it's 365 and 366. Now, the art for it is it's not as good as Miura's art, but it is still really good. And it does a really good job of kind of replicating that. And it didn't, like, it wasn't so different that it threw me off while I was reading it. It was still really enjoyable to read. And man, I was just seeing, as you know, this is gonna be spoilers. So, but just seeing Griffith and Guts and Casca again, it just in the most recent chapters, and seeing Zod come back was just the most exciting thing, because I just never thought I would get, you know, the joy of seeing these characters ever again with Miura's passing. So just seeing them and just that manga, it honestly brought a tear to my eye just reading those chapters. And it genuinely just excites me to know that there are even more chapters coming out for Berserk. And it's a beautiful story. If you haven't read Berserk, well, for one, I don't know why you got to this part in the video, but definitely go and read Berserk. It is amazing. If you play games like Dark Souls, recently Elden Ring did come out. Not recently, but Elden Ring did come out. I know a lot of people loved it. Stuff like that are based on Berserk. So if you enjoy those, you would definitely enjoy Berserk. So, man, but it's just amazing. It's just amazing. But that's really all from me. Once again, be sure to follow me on Instagram at SimonSauroYT. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell so you never miss an upload, and so you can just, stay tuned for more manga related content. Also, comment down what you've been reading recently. Would you recommend it? How do you feel about it? Just all that good stuff. But yeah, that's all I had to say. This is Simon Sabro signing out. I'll catch you on the next one.